Now, I'm personally always on the hunt for high quality, high income style ETFs, especially ones that track the Nasdaq or the S&P 500 and have the potential for some upside in the future, but also offer a ton of income from day one. And that's just because for me as a 32-year-old dividend investor, I'm looking to continue to build out a portfolio like you can see right here on the screen that pays me on average $8,500 per month in dividends. So I'm going to need to continue to buy some higher yielding options if I want to get there within the next year or two. Now, just as of recently, I came across another new Nasdaq-100 income style ETF that I definitely want to share with you guys and dig a little bit deeper, and that's exactly what we're going to do in today's video. So if you're a dividend investor interested in the Nasdaq-100 and high income potential from day one, well then make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. If you are a dividend investor who wants to level up your portfolio, you need to be tracking your dividend income consistently. And that's why I created the perfect dividend tracker that I've used to scale my dividend income up to all-time highs over the last year. Now, along with this dividend tracker, you're also going to receive my A to Z dividend investing ebook, which shows you how I personally started from $0 several years ago to now where I earn over $7,500 per month in dividends. So if you want this tracker and the ebook, go to the first link down below in my description and grab it today. So the Nasdaq-100 high income ETF that we're going to be talking about in today's video, and I just recently came across, it caught my eye, so I thought to myself, why not make a video about it, dig a little bit deeper and see what it has to offer, is ticker symbol IQQQ, or the Nasdaq-100 high income ETF. Now this ETF is from ProShares, so it's a very well respected and well known provider, which always sort of helps you sleep well at night. But along with that, it says target high income and Nasdaq-100 returns over the long term, all in one ETF. Now, to get a better idea of what IQQQ, the ProShares Nasdaq-100 high income ETF, has to offer, let's head over to the fact sheet right here, and you can see it says why IQQQ. It says IQQQ is powered by a daily covered call strategy that offers high income potential. Selling call options each day can provide a high level of income. Now, over time, you're seeing more and more of these option style ETFs come about that are not selling options on a monthly basis, but now a lot of them are doing very short duration option selling, even on the daily. Now, if the market cooperates and if things go well, this does have the potential to offer a lot more income than that, even compared to a monthly strategy. It also says efficient income generation potential, seek income, and target Nasdaq-100 returns over the long term. Then lastly, it says higher return potential, seek to capture returns that monthly covered calls may sacrifice. Now this is sort of just what I was saying a second ago, because of course, this ETF does use a daily call option strategy. There is the potential for a lot more income compared to a monthly. Now, some more interesting information about IQQQ. This ETF has been trading since about March of last year, so it has been around for a little bit of time. It's around 60 million in assets under management, so it isn't the largest fund, but not bad whatsoever. The annualized distribution, this is going to be very important, especially for those income chasers like myself. We're talking like a 9 to 10% yield, so that's not bad whatsoever. Now, the distribution is going to be paid monthly, which I'm sure a lot of you guys at this point are actually sort of getting used to getting paid weekly from things like QDTE or XDTE, etc. But this ETF still does pay monthly. Now, just right off the bat, I would sort of compare this ETF at least somewhat to JEPQ. Only difference is, of course, JEPQ does not use a daily option strategy, which might make this ETF perform better or maybe not over the long term. Now, looking at the index description, it says the Nasdaq-100 Daily Covered Call Index is designed to replicate the performance of an investment strategy that combines a long position in the Nasdaq-100 index with a short position on the Nasdaq-100 index call options. This combination is often referred to as a covered call strategy. An investor holding a certain security sells or writes a call option on the same security in an attempt to generate additional income. Now, again, I'm sure a lot of you guys are very aware of what covered calls are. I'm sure you guys probably own different funds that utilize this and or just like myself, actually write covered calls on your specific portfolio. But this strategy can be used and has been used to generate a ton of income, and I've been doing so over the last half decade. Now, this ETF has performed pretty well, at least as of filming this video. Since inception, this ETF has offered around 15.14% return, and again, this is since about March of last year. Now, during this time frame, there's of course been certain ETFs that probably perform better and worse, but this is not bad whatsoever, especially because of course, you're getting a lot of income generation from day one. Now, speaking of income generation, I want to go ahead and look at the distributions. Let's look at 2024's distributions and see what this ETF has to offer. So back earlier in 2024, we have a 35, almost 36 cent distribution, then a 29 cent distribution, 35, 36, then almost 35, 81 cent distribution, then 32, we have 10 cents, 34 cents, and 16 cents. Now, one thing that I noticed with all these distributions, at least as of so far, they're not necessarily going to be consistent, which again is very similar to that of JEPQ, for example. And this maybe or maybe not is a big deal to you as an investor. I know me personally, I kind of like to have the average 35 or 50 cent payouts. Even though some months with this one might be higher or lower, I still like to have sort of a consistent payout and just sort of know how much I'm going to be receiving more or less in the up and coming month. Now, just because any ETF or stock for that matter pays a certain distribution or dividend in the past does not mean that it's going to continue to do so in the future, so just keep that in mind. So far when it comes to ticker symbol IQQQ, I honestly like what I see. The ETF has been trading for just shy of 1 year and has offered an annualized gain of around 16-17% if you were to reinvest the dividends. Now, a few of the main takeaways that I have is that this ETF is going to offer you something similar to that of JEPQ. The only difference is that this ETF has a much shorter duration option strategy, which potentially can offer a lot more income, but again, that only depends. Now, another takeaway I have about IQQQ is that this ETF, along with a lot of these newer covered call style ETFs, is sort of seeking to offer a nice mix of potential upside, but also a lot of income from day one. Now, to explain that a little bit deeper, as of right now in the market in 2025, there's tons of different ETFs that offer, say, 20%, 30%, 40+% yield, but then they might not offer any sort of upside potential. They might even trade sideways or down. But then there's other ETFs out there, just like JEPQ, for example, that has grown over time at least a little bit and has offered investors, at least historically, around 8%, 9%, 12% yield. Now, for me personally, as a long-term investor that does want to earn a lot of income on a monthly basis, like I mentioned, my goal as of right now in 2025 is to get to $8,500 more or less per month. But I also want my overall portfolio to slowly grow over time. Even if it's not at the fastest pace, I still don't want my portfolio to go sideways or down. Now, because that's my specific strategy, ETFs like IQQQ would actually make sense to add into my portfolio because, again, tracking the Nasdaq, having some upside potential, but also offering a lot of income is basically exactly what I'm looking for. Now, on the other hand, if you're an investor that's much more focused on income and you want to generate the maximum amount of income with the least amount of money invested, or on the other side of that, if you want the most growth potential, then an ETF like this one might or might not be the best option for you because, again, it's sort of trying to offer the best of both worlds all in one simple ETF. But at least from what I've seen so far, this ETF offers quite a strategy for an expense ratio of 0.55%, has had a nice solid total return at least so far since inception, and is definitely going to be at least on my watch list when it comes to adding more Nasdaq-100 high income ETFs. So now that we talked about IQQQ, the Nasdaq-100 high income ETF, I share with you guys what this ETF is, how it works, even the performance and distribution so far. I lastly, most importantly, want to hear from you down below. Is this ETF something that you would add in your portfolio? And if not, what other Nasdaq-100 ETFs do you think I should look into next? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.